my people. How are you today? Here I am with you once again, and I want to thank you very much for being here with me. I'm going to be talking about the brown race and the black race for a little while, so you're going to have to bear with me and get used to it. I'm probably going to speak about the brown race and the black race until the end of the year, so that's the best that I could do right now, knowing the situation. I've been very busy all year, and I try my best to get in as many videos as possible, but I'm a very busy person. I'm trying to make ends meet. I'm not rich. I'm not filthy. I'm not well off. I'm just trying my best. I'm just a young girl who is working very hard to spread the message. And the message that I'm spreading, it becomes very difficult because a lot of people try to hinder me from getting the message across and letting people know exactly what's going on in our community. And I try to encourage the little brown skinned black girls to feel confident in themselves and, just don't let anybody take you for a pushover. I try to teach them that, we have a responsibility to our race to keep the race pure and to keep it brown and to keep it black. And I try to let them know that, let people know how you feel about it when they call beige skinned people black people. That makes you feel sad. It makes you feel depressed. It makes you feel stressed out. It makes you feel anxiety and anxious. It makes you feel self hate. When most of these European women try to push their macaca offsprings in our community, it really is causing a lot of emotional issues in our community. So I try to, try to be there for the little brown skinned black girls who are suffering from depression because people keep forcing Mokaka European people into our community. Black girls who are brown skinned black Indian girls who are suffering, who are stressed out, who are feeling self hate, who feel like they want to bleach themselves. Um, and a lot of this, I mean, um, it's not only the black woman and the European man who are having children, but it's also mostly the European woman and men who have the same skin color as the brown race and the black race who are forcing this and ruining our community and causing this depression, causing this anxiety, causing this pain, causing this hate, causing this stress, causing this fear, causing this anger. I can't stress enough how this is emotionally affecting our community. And I think the government should start compensating people who need to go to the doctor and because they're feeling depressed because European people or Asian people, Caucasian people keep forcing their race into our community. And it's very stressful. It's very stressful and it causes a lot of anger. And if we try to defend ourselves, usually the men in our community are the ones who give us a hard time because if push comes to shove, they always run to a man to defend them, and which the man does, and then it causes a big, you know, confusion. So we're asking you, especially you European women and European men, and we're asking the justice system, we're asking the court system, asking the authorities, we're asking the politicians, we're asking the next door neighbors, we're asking the average citizens, we're asking every single person. If someone's skin is not brown and their skin is not black, they fit into the Caucasian or the European community. When you call these people black, it's very depressing and it's very stressful. And there's a lot of female or people in the black community who need counseling just because of this, and the counseling is not there. There's no community um, resources where you can turn to and say to someone, well, I'm very depressed because my neighbor keeps calling her Caucasian Mukaka kid black, and the kid is mixed and it's frustrating me and it's making me feel depressed. There's no avenue and there's nowhere for help where you can go. So we are calling on the lawmakers and the politicians and the teachers and the people who are forcing this onto us. There's no 1% rule where you have 1% black, then you're black. There's no such thing. If your skin is not brown or black, you fall into the European community. And European people try to act like, oh, they're superior to you. And, they have a right to have their own race. And our race has to be the recycling bin where they dump all the stuff that they don't want in their community. It doesn't work like that. Our race is indigenous. We were here first before all people. And we have a responsibility to maintain our race. So we're asking you, European people, you Caucasian people, take your Mokaka children and keep them into your community. You are the ones who are producing these children. The black woman and the brown woman, we don't have a habit of crossbreeding with European men or Asian men. Some people do, but it's not something common, but it's very common. It's very common to go outside and see a Caucasian woman with a Mokaka kid. That is the norm nowadays. So we're asking you guys to keep your children into your community because it's ruining in our community and it's ruining our children's self-esteem. And we're trying to speak out, but the men in our community, you guys run to them and they're harassing us and they're physically abusing us and they're making it very difficult for us to live up to our responsibility of maintaining our race. It is our responsibility, it's their responsibility too to maintain the race, but they've given up their responsibility for whatever reason, I'm not sure. But they've given up their responsibility for self gratification, and that's their choice because it's their life that they can live it. But they don't have a right to ruin the brown race and the black race because they have self gratification. And I said it before, and I'm not going to stop saying it. They are using our face and they're using our race, and they should be paying us to use our face and use our race. And all the money that these makakas are pulling out of our community, we have to find a way to get it back into our community because too many brown skinned women are struggling and suffering and they go through life barely making it. While these makakas are enjoying everything in life and living their best and doing all the things their fantasy, and we're here suffering. We can't even find a good plate of food to eat, and they're eating the best and we're hungry, and they're eating jerk chicken with white rice and steamed vegetable. They're eating curry goat with white rice and steamed vegetable, and we there are dead for hungry, can't even find no food to eat. And they're sitting over there acting like they like us and they don't like us. They're just acting and they're using trickology to trick us and steal what it is that is ours. And they're on a path to try and annihilate us and replace our brown community with their Mokaka community. These are the slave drivers. Slavery just ended the other day. And the people from slavery, when slavery ended, the people, they weren't willing to just give up their right to own slaves. So they come into our community and they pretend and act like they like us when they really don't like us. And it's going on every single day, everywhere you turn, left, right, or center. There's no brown skin, black Indian girl out there who's not being a slave to somebody. None. I don't care if you're a billionaire. I don't care who, what, where, when, why. As long as you are a brown skinned black Indian girl, there's someone out there who has plans to use you, plans to trick you, plans to do something to try to steal your birthright and try to steal what is yours. If they're not doing it to you currently, they have plans to do it. And if somebody was doing it and then you caught them and you kicked them to the curb, they send in someone else, or someone else just comes in on their own. That's how it is. And brown skin black Indian girls, as soon as you achieve something in life, say you buy a home or you buy a car, and something were to happen and your children inherit it, there's a woman who has been watching you for years. There's a Caucasian woman who gave birth to a child who has her eye on your property. And as soon as something goes wrong, boom, they jump in. The first one to help you is them. When they're not there to help you, they're there because they gave birth to a child who they want to come and inherit your thing. And it's happening all around you, every single place you go, especially the Asian people. They do that, especially. The first thing they go after are the boys, because it's easier to trap the boys than it is to trap the girls. So they go after the boys most of the time. So whatever it is you work hard for, whatever you is that you inherit, there is a Mokaka, there is a albino, there is an Asian, there's an Oriental, there is somebody sitting by just waiting the right opportunity to send their child in to snatch your thing, or they come in themselves to snatch your thing. That's how it works. And that's how they're gaining their wealth. And like I said, slavery was just abolished not too long ago. So you know for a fact that this has happened rapidly. And all these things around you, you don't understand. You created them, but because you're not taking responsibility, like when I fill out a document and it says, are you Indian? Are you so and so? I usually check Indian. But the average black person or brown person, they don't check Indian. They ignore that. And that title is just sitting around and no one's taking it. And then they come and grab it because they're like, oh, we have use for this. So, brown skin black Indian girls, I just want you to be more responsible for the things that you take control of in our race, not just for yourself, but for the future generation. And the generation that is here right now is confused, they are lost, they don't know nothing about themselves. They don't even, a brown person can't even look at themselves and say, oh, I'm a brown woman, I'm not a black woman, I'm not a black woman. Let me show you something. This is a brown, this is brown right here, and this is black. Two different colors. Don't make Caucasian people come and tell you what your race is. You are superior to them. Act like you're superior to them. You don't have to bully them, you don't have to fight them, but you do have to defend yourself. And if push comes to shove and they want to, get physical with you, you have to prepare to get physical with them to control the responsibility of maintaining your race. And you should have a race that has one color in it. And they should have a race that is mixed up like a recycling bin. Don't let them come and take your race and throw everything in it like this is a recycling bin, like this is a pot of soup. It's not a pot of soup. Their race is a pot of soup. Let them throw everything in a recycling bin. Let them throw pig feet and throw mush and whatever they want to in their soup and make their race a pot of soup. Our race is a superior race that should be maintained as a brown race. And I'm not saying that with hate and anger. I'm saying it with a responsibility of maintaining the brown skin race that is indigenous to this world. The first race here was the brown race, and we've completely lost the race. And the Indian race and the brown race are two races that were here originally on earth. The black race is a race. You know, in the South, they have this nappy hair. That's the black race. The nappy hair ones. The ones who cut off their hair and don't maintain it and make it get nappy and walk around with this bald head and looking like boys. And then, they sit in the sun all day and bleach and make the sun burn them, or they add chemical to their skin to make it that color. That's the black race. You are from the brown race, and I am from the brown race. The black race and the brown race is the two original races on this earth. And then the albinos came, and then you have the cannibals, and then you have the Homo sapiens, and so forth, and it goes on and on and on. So, brown skin, black Indian girls, I want to encourage you to just, make sure everybody knows. Be prepared to defend yourself, and don't walk around like you're miserable, or, like you're whatever. You walk around with your hand on your chin like you're afraid. Walk around with confidence. Put on your clothes and look good, and fix up yourself and put on your makeup. And if a man come to you and say, "Oh, me not like woman in a makeup," tell himself to take it and shove it up him ass where the sun don't shine, and F off and leave you alone. If you want to wear your makeup and that makes you look good, you may wear your makeup. Because that one thing I noticed, as soon as a black woman put on makeup or a brown woman put on makeup, a man is coming, "Oh, I don't like women who wear makeup. I don't." Pussy, fuck off. Excuse my language, okay? Just F off. They do that to me. I have men who tell me, "Oh, me like my woman natural because Jah Rastafari bring natural woman in this world and the beauty of the African queen." African queen, me bomba clad. African queen, me ras clad. F off and go. And as soon as a macaca come in makeup, or a European, they're like, "Oh, she's so beautiful, look at her." And when you try to put on your look of makeup, they might tell you about African queen, the natural and beauty. And when you do natural something, they dish you dirt and throw you to the curb and go dish you dirt for a mukaka and a Caucasian. Tell them to F off. As soon as they open their mouth to tell you about, "Oh, me like woman who," say F off. I can understand with the botch body and the big bum and the chicken foot them. I hate girls that look like that. That looks stupid. I don't know why anybody would waste their money, go a Dr. Miami, go make themselves look like that. This big yasso and just chicken foot down yasso. Like, what are you? Are you a chicken? Are you like making soup or something? I don't know. Me just them kind of girl that them just look strange. I can understand those girls. Cause them don't look natural, them look weird. But if you want to put up your look of makeup and go on and fix up yourself and put on one nice blouse, let me show you something like this now. Don't fall in. This now, see this, if I take off my blazer, it give me a different look, right? You're allowed to do that. But there's some man, "Oh my girl, you have to button up your clothes and be more conservative and be more, more humble in the name of the Lord." No, man, when you're ready, if you want, take off your something and show up your skin and show up yourself. Do that. Don't let nobody come and call you up and make you feel like, say, "Oh, you have to look like no look a house rat and look no way for nobody." No, you can fix up yourself, put on your makeup. If you have a look of sexy clothes where you want to put on will make you look sexy, you do that. It's your life. You can do it if you want to do it. Fix up yourself and make yourself look good, and don't make yourself look cool. Like sometimes when I don't feel like dress up, most of the time I have on my makeup if I'm going outside. If I'm inside now, I'll put on lipstick. But if I'm inside, I don't know why I like to put on my lipstick if I'm inside, because I like to see my lips, cherry or whatever color. But when I'm going outside, I normally put on makeup. If I'm going outside, I will put on makeup. But if I'm inside, I mostly just put on lipstick. I don't bother with all the other stuff because I don't want to start playing around with makeup around my eyes every day, right? And that's how I do it. Like, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I will put on my hoodie or my whatever, just long garments. I like wearing long garments, and then there's other times where I don't want to wear long garments. There's other times where I want to wear short garments. I have the right to do that, but there are men in the community who will say to me sometimes, like, this and like that and that, and they try to control me. And I'm somebody who will stand up for myself. I don't really take crap from people. I stand up to myself, and you know, I talk to a lot of dreadlocks people, and they always come in with this, oh, woman forbid this and African queen and rare. You don't know nothing about Africa. All these people, you notice how they do? They just recite the same thing over and over again. Like, we come from Africa. Where in Africa we come from? We come from Ethiopia. Where in Ethiopia we come from? We come from Addis Ababa. Where in Addis Ababa we come from? Well, Jah Rastafari, King Selassie, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah, elect of God, light of the world, slew all weak heart and trample them, go down to the ground. Lineage of the original king was slew this person and slew that person. Yeah, but that's not the question I asked you. Which part in Ethiopia we come from? And they always get stuck. They don't know no more than that. So then they start this chanting because they're just repeating things over and over and over again. And don't get me wrong, I really love His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie because as a daily inspiration and a daily guidance on things to do, and when I get stuck in a rut and I'm not sure what direction to turn, if I turn to Emperor Haile Selassie, I know I'm going to go on a path where, okay, I'm not sure about this path or that path. And just because I love Emperor Haile Selassie, I don't mean I'm going to give away my birthright to Africa, because I know who I am. And because I love him and he loves me, he's not expecting me to give away my birthright. He's expecting me to have sense and have common sense. Right? So, with that being said, I know who Emperor Haile Selassie is. And I know who I am. And I know that I came from Jamaica. And I know that my people traveled all over this entire world and populated this entire world, the seven continents, Asia, North America, South America, Antarctica, Australia, Africa. Jamaicans populated all those continents. And somewhere along the way, everybody wanted to change things and do things different. But if you guys keep changing things all the time, it gets confusing for the future generation. That's what I'm trying to say is we don't need to change things every minute. We're brown people and black people. You want to come and change us into beige people. You don't need to change things all the time. And we as brown people and black people, we need to take authority of this world. This earth that we're standing on was made from our hair. Everybody knows that hair can locks turn into knot. And when it turns into knot, easily, if you treat it a certain way and leave it for a certain time, it can turn into earth and dirt. That's theoretical. It can be proven that this earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, the universe, all the stuff in outer space, those came from our hair. That is our hair right there. I have to ask you. I have to ask you, I tell you, because you sit down around and you no know where things come from and who, what, where, when. Well, I'm telling you, the earth that we're standing on, the sun, the reason why the sun is so hot, okay? Let me tell you why the sun is so hot. They use cloud seeding weather modification to alter the sun. To remove water, the desert is causing the sun to be so hot. And when the sun gets so hot, we used to live on the moon one time. Believe it or not, it's your business if you want to believe it. It's not far-fetched. We used to live on the moon. Okay? Cloud seeding weather, we would be able to travel from Earth to the moon easily because the atmosphere, and we used to fly. We didn't need flying saucers. We used to be able to fly. There were crafts that fly, but the average brown skinned black Indian girl was able to levitate. Anywhere you go right now, if you go to the science center and you go in a room, as soon as you step in the room, your body's gonna fly off the ground and you can fly around. It's not something impossible, I'm telling you about. Because the Earth atmosphere right now, man used cloud seed and weather modification to alter the world. And when they alter it, they alter our ability to move around freely and naturally, how we used to move around freely and naturally. Okay, so the sun is overheated because of the desert, because the desert is a place where you have beige soil, because they treated the soil. These people are so racist. The soil used to be brown because we created it brown. So they took something and treated the soil, spray it, and made it beige so they can have it match their skin color to say, oh, they created that. We created that and they used chemical to treat it and make it that. Okay? So brown skin black Indian girls, I'm teaching you guys a lot of the knowledge that was passed on to me from our foreparents. This stupid knowledge that they're teaching us, them stupid things that me never learn when me look of it, okay? Me learn like higher knowledge and higher powers and stuff like that. So any science center you go, some of them have exhibition where you can go in an area and you're gonna fly around. You're gonna float around, you can fly around, you can do whatever you want as long as you're in that environment. That never used to be just one room. That used to be the entire world. And they use cloud seed and modification to remove the liquid from one part of the world, like the desert is causing that. The Middle Eastern people are causing that. Those are Asian people. They're causing the sun to be too hot. And when the sun gets so hot, the people who were living on the moon had to flee the moon because it got so hot. Now, when in the future it's going to go back to how it was, like generation after generation to come, it's all going to go back to that. But when the moon becomes habitable again, they're going to make it something else, like only European people or Caucasian people can go there and so forth. When that planet was created from our hair, right now they're saying the moon is gray because it was burnt from the overheating of the sun from the cloud seeding modification. But originally, the moon was brown color, and the sun was brown color, and the same color as the earth, the same makeup, same matter that makes it up is the same thing. This is our hair. This is our hair from our Indian head. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. You need to get back the Indian title in our community. That hair is hair that was after you leave it for a while and it gets knotted. We used to use the trees. Two trees used to come together, and because you didn't want the hair to float away, you'd put it in a net and it would stay there in the net. The same net where you used to catch a fish, the same net you used to put two trees, and the hair would just stay there. And people from different tribes or different community or different family, when they have hair, loose hair, the hair would never go in the garbage. You never used to throw your hair in the garbage. You would put the hair in the net. And when the net got too heavy and too filled with hair, it would burst off by itself and free up itself and go into the atmosphere. And that's why you see in the air um you have all these rocks and all these planets flying around. Those are the hair from the brown skin black Indian girl's hair. After, if you leave it for a while or you spray it and you treat it with certain chemical, it turns knotted and it turns hard like rock or hard like granite and those type of things. Now, when you take the hair and you mix it with other things, it could make it turn into iron. It turned into gold, it turned into ruby, it turned into diamond, it turned into emerald, it turned into all these stones. That's what I'm trying to show you, brown skin black Indian girls. You get up every day and you're like, oh, what am I gonna do today? Which is great. It's good. You have to figure out your day because you have to live. You can't sit your whole day worrying about, oh, what happened in the past when there's nowhere where you're going to find the information. But even though that, you have to spend one day a week try to find out your heritage and your true you and try to figure out who you are and where you're coming from. Because too many brown skin black Indian girls come into this world, they don't achieve nothing and they're gone. They spend their whole life trying to please a man. And at the end of the day, the man disrespect you and treat you like garbage and put a Caucasian or a albino or a macaca above you. You have to take responsibility for yourself and who you are and stand firm in your heritage and what it is that God put you here to do on this earth. And you have to set something to teach the future generation who they are. And we need to let European people know that when they call their mukakas and send them in their communities, causing depression, causing fear, causing anxiety, stress, hate, anger, and all these things. We need to teach our children how to use their words and express themselves so they know that this is how I'm feeling. I'm not feeling good about this. And when a man comes to fight you, you have to defend yourself with words and tell him that no, this is what it is. When you have your Mokaka children, you have to take them in the European community. We have a right to maintain our community and keep it pure and keep it holy and sacred. Our race is not a race, it's not a recycling bin where you just dump anything. Make the European and the Caucasian race be the recycling bin. We are tired to take care of people's rubbish right now. We're tired to do that. A garbage man gets paid to take out the garbage. A man who works at the recycling plant gets paid to work at the recycling plant. So why are Caucasians and Mokakas forcing themselves in our community and we're not getting paid to take out the garbage and we're not getting paid to recycle and sort the recycling bin? Our community is not a recycling bin. Our community is the original brown skin black Indian girls. Imagine your hair. This world, this universe, this earth that we're standing on was created from your hair. And you don't even know that because the knowledge and the book that said that was destroyed a long time ago to the point where you're never going to know that. But I'm bringing that back to you because that's what I was taught when I was a little girl. That's the knowledge I was given when I was a little girl. That's the knowledge that I know about. I know about our hair creating the universe and the planets. And when it becomes hard enough and solid enough, let me tell you something, okay? The Bible story, I'm going off track, but I might as well just talk about it because that's how I am anyways. I just talk. I can't talk anyway because it better I just talk to something them and like you see the people them who listen to me channel, oh, me no want to talk patois, you know, me go back. I have to go back in the English. Oh, me go back in the English now. Oh, it's hard enough. Me go back in the English. Okay. You see the people? You see the people who are see me lose my thought, me lose what me gonna say. Cause sometimes you see how me switch over to the patois and then it kinda it's distracting to go back and forth. But sometimes the patois seep in and then bro me have to catch myself and go back to it. But okay, let me show you something, okay? You see in the Bible, oh, okay, this is what I was gonna say, and then I lost my thought when I went into the patois. Patois, don't come here. This is not a patois thing right now. I'm speaking English, so everybody will understand what I'm saying. Because there are a lot of young kids in our community, and they don't know patois. And if I speak that, the message might get lost. So that is why I'm going to speak English and proper English. So patois, go away and come back another day because right now is not the patois time, okay? This is not the Bumble Pussy Ross Clot time. This is the time to speak English so everybody will get the message, okay? So let me get back to what I was going to say. In the Bible, you know how people are saying, oh, this took place in Africa and so forth. Okay, Jamaica is a country where the most of the bauxite in the world comes from. And bauxite is what you use to make aluminum, you use it to make iron and so forth. This is why I'm very angry with some of the Jamaican politicians because Jamaica has so much natural resources and they're just selling out our resources in bulk cheap to other countries and they're not keeping the resources in our community, and Jamaican people are so creative where they can make any little thing they want. But let me tell you something, okay? I'm going to show you how the Bible story could not have happened in Africa. I'm going to show you something. Africa never had no metals. Africa did not have iron. Africa did not have aluminum. Africa did not have bauxite. Jamaica had that. And Jamaica never used to be this little dot on the map. Jamaica was a whole all the way going to Europe, Africa, all of that was Jamaica. You see Australia, that was Africa. Now it wasn't Africa, it was Ethiopia, Australia, that little part over there, so it was reserved. Australia, but all of that used to be Jamaica. Now we started from the left side of Jamaica. I can't remember what country is what parish is in the far left side. Probably Westmoreland or one of them places or in the far left over there. If life started in Africa and people were fighting the war, oh my goodness, I have to press pause. Ooh, I'll be right back. Okay, so as I was saying before I was disturbed, um, Africa did not. Jamaica is where you get all the bauxite and you get all the iron and the aluminum and so forth, right? A lot of the wars that were being fought, remember the people from the Bible, how they fought the war and they were trying to get by certain soldiers and they were fighting and so forth. A lot of the iron was hoarded over into Africa and the iron and so forth. From the war, when people made breastplates and they made armor and they made whatever, shields for their feet and stuff like that. That's how the metal came out of Jamaica and into other parts of the world. And a lot of people don't know and understand this. Okay, so that's how the metal came from the part of the world. So in the Bible, you ever see and count how many, think about it, okay? When a country comes to Jamaica to buy the bauxite and buy the iron ore and buy the aluminum, they have to pay money for it, okay? But when there is a war and the soldiers and they build all the stuff for themselves and they build all the shields and the armor for themselves and the animal and chariots, the iron is coming out of the Jamaica for free, and the other countries are getting it for free. And that's what a lot of the wars in the Bible were about. It was hoarding the natural resources from Jamaica into other parts of the world without physically having to pay for it. So you cause a war against a certain tribe, because remember, the whole world started with 12 tribes, right? You start a war with the 12 tribes. The 12 tribe comes over there to fight the war. And in the war, when it's going on, when they lose the battle and they lose soldiers, people come and gather and hoard the raw material used to make their uniform and the shields around their head and count. If there were, the Bible will tell you, there were like 10,000, 100,000 men in war, and each one of them would have on, okay, they have one item on their head, they have an item on their face, they have an item on their chest, they have an item on their legs, they have like their sword or their stick, and then they have a horse or some kind of something that they drag themselves around in, and that's another like thing that you have to use the material of the aluminum or the iron ore to make, right? So think about one person having all of that, multiplying it by 10,000 or 100,000 men, and you'll see how people think that the war was about this. No. The war was about getting Jamaica's aluminum and Jamaica's raw material for free over to other parts of the world without having to pay for it. Even though they were fighting war, sometimes the war was over something small and very stupid, like, one guy will say something, or sometimes it's not stupid, because sometimes someone would offend a woman or disrespect a woman, and the whole thing would fall, and the whole city would fall, and they would take over the whole place. And all those things are going on. You're hoarding the raw material from Jamaica, and I can say Jamaica because it's a fact that the iron and all those things from around the world that are used mostly come from Jamaica. And the reason, if you have some in Guyana, if you have some in Asia, if you have some here, it got there from either they buy it, or it got there from war, from the remnants of war, or it got there from people just downright coming and stealing it. But, the light posts in the buildings, the cars, like Jamaica, you have to wake up and start taking authority of this. Like, we're not going to be like a dictator country, but we have to stand a little firmer in this world, Jamaica, when you realize what is really going on. And I'm going to tell you something. You see, ganja. Ganja is the number one thing that is a weapon to hold Jamaica back. Period. Me not have to ask nobody. May I tell you, the number one weapon in Jamaica that is holding Jamaica back is ganja. When you smoke ganja, you just feel worthless sometimes. You feel like you can't achieve nothing. You can't even go from A to Z. It makes you tired. It says, oh, it cure glaucoma, it cure all these diseases. Fine, yes, it does. But you have to be honest with yourself and know, say, enough people who smoke ganja, them just lazy. Them no want work. Them no want do nothing. Them just tired morning, noon, and night. And then them sit down and read, and then them chant and play the drum, and then smoke another spliff, and them. And it's a cycle that goes around and around. That is the number one thing that holds Jamaica back is ganja. Ganja is what holds Jamaica back. And when I was a young girl, women did not smoke ganja. Men smoke ganja. Now women smoke ganja, but when I was a young girl, for a woman to smoke ganja, that would be the biggest disgrace ever. That would be the biggest shame to any family, to anybody at all, if a woman smoked ganja. That's the main thing holding back Jamaica is ganja. And that's where a lot of the knowledge gets lost in the ganja. And I kid you not. I say some things that may, you may seem like, oh, I am crazy. I am not crazy. The things that I'm saying to you are factual. It can be proven that most of the aluminum and most of the iron ore that is all over the world right now, it comes from Jamaica. That can be proven. That's a fact. And if Africa never had no metals at all, the first metal stick that they found in Africa, I think it was written down or it's in a museum somewhere to show you that they know where the first metal stick came from in Africa. So all these things can be proven. It's to show you that life did not start in Africa, because if life started in Africa, the iron would have been there, and Africa never had no iron. Africa never had no metal. And metal is one of the most important things you need right now to make anything. And none of that ever came from Africa. And that was a basic. In the Bible, everything is about going to war, going to war. And it was a basic of war to make weapons and make armor out of metal. And Africa never had none. It's a recent time when they found that in metal in Africa. And once they found the metal, they used the oranges to turn the regular iron ore into gold. And they used the blood to turn the regular iron and glass and sand into ruby. And they used the trees and the iron to turn regular material into emerald and so forth. It can be proven, and diamonds. All of this can be proven. But because we brown skinned black Indian girls are not focusing on the right things, we're focusing on the wrong things because it's boring. It's not that boring. When you get into it, let me show you what I do. Me, I love music. I love music, but while I'm scoping the internet for music or while I'm listening to a CD, there's always something, there's always one message. It doesn't matter. It could be the stupidest rapper who don't know nothing or the stupidest dancer artist who don't know nothing. There's one single message in that stupid person's thing that they're giving out. Okay? I'll be right back. I gotta go do something. I'm gonna take I'm going to take a pause for the cause right now. And what am I gonna do?